Well, the canvas that I keep threatening to work on still hasn't arrived, so I bought a 18 by 24, a little more panoramic, but you know, not quite. I had a request to talk a little bit more about painting with a knife and maybe showing how I load my knife. Now, I did a video, no, maybe it's a year ago. It's been a while anyway. The video is titled For Horribilis. For, F-O-R, Horribilis, H-O-R-R-I-B-I-L-U-S. That video, I zoomed in on my palette and showed how I mix colors and how I use the knife on the palette a little bit. I think this time around I'll do the same thing, but I'm going to zoom in much more closely to give a clearer shot of how I go about mixing, mixing the colors on the palette, as well as how I lay them on the canvas. But before we start painting, and this is one of those times that I know I'm going to use a knife for the sake of the video, I'm going to need to tint it and then draw a design on here, sketch something in, or sketch it in with charcoal first and then wash it in. We'll see, don't know yet, don't know what my subject matter is going to be yet. But I thought what I'd also do quickly is just show you all of the knives that I have used so far in my painting career. We'll start with, maybe I should show it this way, this little guy, just for scale. Not a big knife at all. It's not flexible. Well, it is, but barely. Just barely. So, if I need to get into some really fine detail, I'll use that. I'll just poke into a corner. I don't use it to cover area at all. And, oh, look at my hair. My goodness, I should take better care of myself. Or groom better anyway. Next one is this knife. I've had this knife, I've been using it since I started painting. And the edges have gone concave, so I've had to flatten them out. I've ground this knife down a few times. But I love this knife, partly for detail, but partly for being able to curve it against the canvas. It's very flexible for its size. Quite like it. Because it's worn down, it's also very sharp. So, hate to get into an issue with a sharp knife. That's never good for anybody. This one, a little bigger. Another triangular knife. Not as flexible as I would like, but for covering ground on, well, for some detail, but for covering ground on anything up to 30-40 inch. This is, I like it. I quite like it, and I've bought several of them because as an all-round knife, I quite like it. Looks like it's made by Liquitex. There's no brand name left on the handle of this one. I like this one as well. It has a rounder tip, and this gives me broader strokes. The tip of the knife with a broader blade as well. I like it in skies, some blocks of foliage, what have you. And it's also a little more flexible than the last one I showed you. And then this knife that I bought not too long ago, and I think I've only used this, on 2 paintings now? Both were, 36-48 or 30-48, I'm not sure. But not very flexible, but its size, it loads a lot of paint, and it forces you to keep, if you want to block a color in, it forces you to keep the color loose, unless you mix the heck out of it on your palette, which is always a mistake. So there's that. On this painting, really, I'm just going to be using my knife in the middle. What did I show you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 knives. This is the one in the middle, the one that I use the most constantly, with the most constant. So that's it for the moment. It's Saturday afternoon. I've had a very busy day doing things other than painting. Sunshine out there. I've been terrible. My wife is gone for the day, so, you know, my wife being the cat, me being the mouse. When the cat's away, the mouse will play. Or the mice will play. Whatever. Alright. I have to come up with something here for a drawing, and I am not going to get a video loaded today at all if I include all of that. So what I might just do is publish this short bit, and then, yeah, often Saturdays I work into the night, so if I get more videoed or more progress documented here, I'll upload it Sunday. What else was I gonna say here? I had something in mind, briefly. Yeah, can't think of what it was. Okay, I just remembered what it was. I'm gonna put the camera right on the edge, like almost parallel to the canvas, slightly back, so it'll be a new camera angle for me when I'm making the painting itself, because that way, maybe by being able to watch the angle of the knife against the canvas, that will help you determine for yourself or understand how the paint goes on. You know, obviously if we have a knife that's at a strong angle and we're laying paint on, we're practically scraping it off. I don't like scraping it off this way, usually, because you can cut into your canvas. These knives get sharp after a bit of wear and tear. And then if you lay it flat and lay your paint on, and you come to the end of your stroke and you pull it off, you pluck the paint off. That's not a look that I typically like. Anyway, you know, I'm going to try that. We'll see. Hopefully that works. Okay. Hope you're all having a great weekend. It's certainly nice here where I am. All right.